the time, pre-med academic advisor, and pow! His swarthy, exotic beauty had hit her like that sedan had nearly hit her. That had been a year ago, and since then she'd come to love Rosa like family. As for Carlos, well, she wouldn't say she loved him like family, but she certainly felt something for him, something her Bio 101 textbook had called a biological imperative. That is, the overwhelming and intrinsic compulsion to mate. Or, in layman's terms, the need to get it on.
Jesus Cristo,
he cursed now, dragging her away from her heated thoughts.
Are you okay, chamaca?
Okay. Well, a few seconds ago, snuggled against him, she'd been better than okay. She'd been great. But now he'd gone and called her chamaca, which Rosa said was slang for little girl, driving home for the bazillionth time that he viewed her less in terms of a willing bed partner and more in terms of a pesky kid sister. So now it was safe to say she was pretty far from okay. I'm fine, she lied, bending to grab her dropped belongings, slapping her hand down on the sheaf of enrollment papers when they caught the wind and threatened to blow into the street. Thanks for that save, by the way. A bad case of road rash would have seriously put a damper on my day.
Not a problem.
He squatted next to her, helping her stack her books. She couldn't help but notice how tan his hands were compared to hers. Just imagine how we might look together naked, his warm brown skin contrasting against my paleness. Her knees weakened at the thought. And gah again.
Especially considering I was the one who startled you into tripping.
No, that wasn't your fault. I'm just clumsy, she assured him, leaving off whenever you're around from the end of the sentence.
Are you sure it's not all that sangria you guzzled last night at the drama club's little fiesta? Hangovers can be a bitch.
You were there? She found that hard to believe. Not only had it been mostly underclassmen at the party, but it also seemed impossible she could have missed him. When Carlos Soto entered a room, or in the case of last night's party, an abandoned warehouse, everyone knew. He just had a way, a presence about him that seemed to command attention. Case in point. When she glanced up to discover that damn irresistible dimple of his winking at her, every cell in her body came to a hard stop like her father's Old English setter did when he spotted a squirrel. And like that dog, she was pretty sure her whole body was now quivering. Does he even know he's doing it? Probably not, she decided, which made it worse.
I just stopped by for a second to pick up a friend who found himself in need of a designated driver,
he explained.
And who was also in need of a voice of sanity to keep him from going home with a philosophy major who was far too young for him.
Too young for him? Let me guess, she groused, standing and slinging her purse strap over her shoulder. This philosophy major was what, 18, 19? Last I heard, that's past the age of consent. Carlos mirrored her movement, rising in one graceful motion that was the polar opposite of her near faceplant into the grill of the Buick. He held on to her books, tucking them under his arm, causing his brown suede jacket to bunch up and reveal his trim waist. What she wouldn't give to turn back the clock a couple of minutes so she could take the opportunity to wrap her arms around that waist.
She was 20, and don't you roll your eyes at me,
he grumped when she did exactly that.
That's too young to be carousing around with a guy who's my age.
Yes, because 25 is positively ancient. She wrinkled her nose. I see daily doses of prune juice and Bengay in your immediate future, you poor thing. He made a face at her. She made one right back. And to get back to the point, she said, I don't have a hangover.
You don't?
No, I prefer to think of it as wine flu. He barked out a laugh, and she would swear she felt the sound low in her belly. When the cool breeze tousled the hair near his temple, she hastily reached out to take her books from him. Not only was she already running late for her meeting, but she also needed something to fill her hands lest she find them burrowing themselves through his sleek black locks.
Which reminds me.
He glanced toward one of the 3 Secret Service agents who had melded back into the landscape the instant it became clear she wasn't in danger of falling into the street.
What's the matter with your security detail? Don't they know better than to let you drink? You're underage. Do I need to have a talk with them?
Oh, geez. It was bad enough.